what I'm hoping to talk to you about is really how to get the very most from your home. I'm an architect who absolutely loves interiors, so I bring the two together. And I guess as a company, my company Optimise Design, we've been working on residential projects since 2007. Regardless of your budget, there's a way that you can get the right advice and, make your home a better place to live in. What we always say to clients is really analyze your home. Almost track it over a week, look at what's working, what's not working, and make a list. And this is really going to help you to build up a picture of what you need to change, what to prioritize, and most importantly, where to invest the budget that you have. So good advice is core to this. It's really, really important to get good advice because design professionals like interior designers, garden designers, and architects, we've been trained to help you to unlock the potential in your home. One thing, and there just seems to be a little bit of nervousness around this, is to be clear about your budget. So you have to tell us how much you have to spend, because that way then we can help you and guide you and help you to prioritize. There are things you really do need to consider. So the first is, obviously, do you need planning? So you won't need planning as long as your extension is under 40 square meters at the ground floor level. Now, that's as long as you haven't extended before. If you have, you're going to have to take that area into account, and the total will need to be underneath the 40 square meters. And then, the practical things. Think about how it's going to affect the aesthetics of your house. How is it going to sit with your house? What kind of style do you want the extension to be? And then the impact it's going to have on the garden. And, that's really, really important. And I'm sure Dermot will be able to talk about that a little bit more. But they're really, really important things to consider. And then the other thing is to bring light if you're building an extension. How do you get light into the existing house? Because inevitably, the extension is going to make the existing house a little bit darker. So I guess just looking to the future then, I honestly feel, and we were talking about this when we first met up, it is such an amazing time to be thinking about doing anything to your homes, because we've gone through a very, very tough few years, but I think people have learned an awful lot, and I think our priorities have changed, which is really good. Certainly I'm seeing the kind of projects that are coming to us and our clients, they're really thinking about themselves, about their family, and about a home. It's not about adding value or square footage. It's really about maximizing what they have. And as an architect and a designer, that's really exciting because it opens up huge possibilities. The smart home technology through wireless and Internet of Things, that's opening up huge possibilities, and what the future holds, that's a really exciting thing to look forward to. The idea that houses aren't going to be as massive as they were. This whole idea about adding square footage, that actually houses will become more compact but much more functional, and there'll be much more efficient use of space. So I think function is going to play a huge part. Well, I'd like to think anyway that it would in houses that are built in the future. And then flexibility. I think life moves so quickly, kids go from toddlers to teenagers really quickly, and your house needs to keep up with that. Things change. So the idea that spaces are flexible, and any of you planning a project, really to think about that, think about the future, because it's easy to focus on how things are now, but things do change. So just to allow your house to have a little bit of flexibility and be able to change. And then I guess the thing that's most exciting for me is the whole idea of indoor-outdoor living. And this is really something that has been slow to catch on. But more and more now, people are really embracing that, and that's fantastic. I know our climate isn't brilliant here, but this is a project we did in Sandymount for a couple who'd lived in the UK, and they came back. And just by covering it over with a roof, outdoor heaters, they had this whole outdoor living space. And they just didn't have the space, really, for the living space in the house, but this opened up a whole new area for them. So there's so much potential that you may not realize you have in your homes, and just thinking about it in a slightly different way will make such a massive difference. So that's it from me, and I'll hand you over now to Dermot, who can talk more about gardens. Thank you.